Hi guys, as you know, my channel Imprint Anatomy gives you a knowledge or a real print of a subject anatomy. So let's see what is anatomy and why this is the basic subject, or I can say why the anatomy is important in the medical fraternity. Medical, paramedical, nursing, any medical fraternity needs or need to study this subject, that is a anatomy. So why this is necessary? Let's see why it is necessary. What is it actually? So as you know the word anatomy, this word derived from the Greek word that is ana, which means a part, that is anatomy. Anatomy is again the Greek word and which means to cut. So this anatomy words derived from the Greek word that is ana and the tomy, that is cut. That means by cutting a body or by cutting a cadaver, we are going to learn the anatomy. What do you mean by the dissection? These words derive from the Latin, that is dissecere, that means again to cut apart. So if you go and check the anatomy, if you really want to study the anatomy, if you feel to understand the anatomy, if you want to make the anatomy interesting, you should go for the dissection and you should dissect the cadaver. Then only you will be able to understand the subject anatomy. So let's see how we are going to learn the anatomy under these headings. Again, you can call it as a subdivision of the anatomy. First is a gross anatomy. You can call it as a cadaveric anatomy, and also you can call it as a macroscopic anatomy. That means macro is, I can say, a large size or a big size. That means you can see through the naked eye. So that is a gross anatomy. So this gross anatomy can be studied on the cadaver. So visual appearance or the visual human cadaver will be there, or you can see a real images or the real picture of the human body on a cadaver, that is a dead body. The second is a histology. As I said, the gross anatomy you can call as a macroscopic anatomy, and the histology you can call it as a microscopic anatomy. The microscopic anatomy, yes, you're supposed to study this structure under the microscope. So this is histology part. What is embryology? Embryo, in the embryo, we are going to learn a developmental anatomy. That means how the human body develops in the, again, I can say the human body. Or so this is embryology, that is developmental anatomy. The fourth one is a living anatomy. This living anatomy, you have to see or you have to learn this on a living person. As before I have said, the cadaveric, that is dead body, on the living, in the living anatomy, that is on the living person. That means palpation, percussion, like that. We will learn that later. So this is living anatomy. You should learn on the living individual. The surface anatomy, again you can call this as a topographic anatomy. The surface anatomy gives you knowledge about the deeper structure in the body. So surface anatomy is also important in case of the medical fraternity. So which gives you the relation of the deeper structure. Clinical anatomy, if you know the gross anatomy, histology, embryology, obviously if there is any abnormality or any diagnostic, you can call it as a clinical anatomy or the applied anatomy. In this, we are going to learn a different cases, or I can say the case-based anatomy. So this is about the clinical anatomy. Neuroanatomy, yes, it deals with the brain and the spinal cord. Radiographic anatomy, obviously a imaging technique like a plain radiograph or the spatial radiograph, CT, MRI, you supposed to study under the radiographic anatomy. The comparative anatomy, yes, for the UG it is not that much important. For PG, this comparative anatomy, we have to compare the human anatomy with the other animals. So that is about the comparative anatomy. Let's see what is systemic anatomy. The first is a integumentary system. That means you can see in this picture the skin. The skin is the largest organ in the body. So this is the, when we are going to study the skin, gross, microscopic, developmentally, this is a systemic anatomy that is called as integumentary anatomy. So you can see after removing the skin, you can see the muscular structure over here. The second one is a skeletal system. Yes, skeletal system, we are going to deal this system with the study of bones or the skeleton. Muscular system. Yes, in the muscular system, we are going to study about the muscles of the body. Cardiovascular system. That means heart and the vessels of the heart or the vessels of the complete body, that is cardiovascular system. Digestive system, again in digestion. Lymphatic system, I can say the defense. We will see in the next slide the each function of the each system. You might be knowing, but just this is the starting, that's why I am repeating this. Endocrine system, respiratory system, nervous system and excretory system, and again I can say the urogenital system. You can see over here, yes, this is the skeletal system. In the skeletal system, we are going to study the skeleton of the human body or the each bone of the human body. Without skeletal system, there will not be shape of the human body. Again, I can say the skeletal system gives shape to the body. A muscular system, yes, we are going to study muscles which helps in the movement or the locomotion of the body. Cardiovascular system, heart and the vessels of the body. A digestive system, lymphatic system, endocrine system. We are going to deal or we are going to study in this with the glands, that is endocrine glands. Respiratory system, trachea and the lung, that is a respiratory system, and the nervous system. Let's see functions of the each system. The first one is a integumentary system, that is a skin. The first function of the skin is a protection because it covers whole human body. So first and the important function is a protection of the body. The skeletal system function of it is it supports the body and helps in the movements as well as a protection. Protection of vital organs like a heart, lung and the pelvic viscera. Muscular system, the function is a body movements. It means without bone, without muscle, the locomotion of the human will not be possible. So, muscular system, the function is a body movements. Cardiovascular system, mainly the circulation of blood. As you know, the function of digestive system is a digestion, and the lymphatic system function is the defense mechanism, and the endocrine system is a production of hormone from the glands. That's why it is called as a endocrine system. A respiratory system includes the respiration and the purification of blood through the lungs. Nervous system, the function, or it is a, I can say, a very important like a cardiovascular and the nervous, the function of the nervous system, a transmission of the information from the brain to body or body to the brain. Excretory system, the function is a excretion. If you will combine the excretory and the genital system in combination, you can call it as a urogenital system. And the function of the genital system is a reproduction. So, endocrine system, you can see these are the glands, that is the pineal gland, hypothalamus, pituitary gland, thyroid gland, thymus, pancreas, adrenal gland and the testes. These are the endocrine glands. In the male or in the female there is a ovary, which is a main difference. Otherwise all glands are the same in the human except this genital organ. Excretory system, that means excretion of the waste products. Let's see what is the regional anatomy. It's very easy. We are going to study the anatomy under different region, that means like a head and neck. So in this region we will study the muscles, the vessels, the nerves of the head and the neck. Then yes, it also includes the brain, then the thorax region, then the abdomen, limbs, that is the upper limb and the lower limb. So this is the regional anatomy.